All right, thanks for coming out. We'll just talk through injury report thing. Trevor Payne was a DMP with the toe. We had 4 limited guys: Christian Boyd with the hand, Jordan Howden with the oblique, Alante with the groin, and then Chase Young with the calf. So, limited guys were all able to do some part of practice. So they're heading in the right direction, and we'll see how all that stuff transpires. Other than that, we had a padded practice today. It was really good work for our guys. We were inside. I thought it was a really good Wednesday.
When did Chase hurt his calf?
Just had a little something come up in the game, or in practice, excuse me. So.
What did it mean for Alante to be out there?
Yeah, progress. I think that's the biggest thing, progress. He's worked his tail off the last few weeks, and so, we'll just let this whole week kind of play itself out.
Anything you can say about Trevor Penning and where his status stands now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he wasn't able to practice today, and so we'll see how that transpires, but he's done a nice job, and he's doing everything he can.
Obviously, the biggest thing Sunday is the win, but big picture, what 2 or 3 things are you looking to see out of this group for the first time?
That's a really good question. Obviously, ultimately, we know what the goal is, and that's the most important aspect of it. I think our play style is really important, that we play, the way we've emphasized all offseason. The fundamentals show up in week 1, so I think that's one of the biggest things is just the fundamentals, the details, the tackling out in space, in a full live game, the blocking, the communication, so many of those things come up, and so, you're going to have to handle that, and it's a week 1 game. One thing we talked about is there's an element of unknown in week 1s. We get a whole offseason, they get a whole offseason. Will they run something that we haven't seen? Yes. Will we run something they haven't seen? Yes. And so that's part of what week 1 looks like.
What went into adding Jake back to the active roster?
Just roster flexibility. Kind of gives us a potential, emergency QB for this week with the 3rd spot, the way the rules are structured. And so we'll see how this week progresses. And, that 3rd QB spot's always a little bit of a tricky one from my experience, just the way the 53-man roster works. And sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not.
How was the football field? How would you describe Spencer Rattler? But not his play on the field at all, but just as a person. What has he been like for you to deal with and get to know? How would you describe him?
Yeah, no, he's just been great. He's really steady. I think he's got some calm, smooth confidence to him that's really fun, and you feel it. There's a vibe to him each and every day as he walks around and handles himself throughout the day. And so, he's just done an awesome job of acclimating himself to all these guys on this team, putting himself in a really good position to lead us.
How much do you think the fact that he doesn't have to look over his shoulder after every play and whatnot, how much do you think that could be beneficial for his development?
Yeah, with quarterbacks, I think that's a really important aspect of this thing. We're excited to see him go out there and play and lead us, and he's going to play really, really well. And so, we have all the confidence in the world with him, and that's about letting him just go do his thing.
When you're going against a guy like Buda Baker, it's like identifying where he's at, on every play. What do you guys?
Yeah, that's a big part of their defense, and it's a huge advantage for them the way he plays. His ability to make plays maybe within structure and at times out of structure. He's going to make some plays just simply because of his high football IQ, his ability to recognize things and make plays that way. And so we just got to do a really good job. We got to communicate at a high level. I think that's the biggest thing. You got to be able to communicate with different adjustments, even at the line of scrimmage based off where he's at. And so it'll be a fun challenge for all of our guys to be together.
Of all the teams that named captains, you guys are the only one who didn't name the quarterback, but that's part of that group. What did you make of that?
I didn't make much out of it. Our guys voted on it. Those were the top 8, and we went with it. Obviously, the quarterback's gone through a competition, and I think our guys just feel great about that entire room there. Spence has done an awesome job. I don't think you have to have a C to lead. We got some really good veteran players who've been here for a long time. I think they've kind of earned their way into those leadership roles, and so you can certainly see the experience with those players that were voted as captains.
Yeah, what have you just noticed about Spencer from a leadership perspective?
Yeah, I think he just does a really good job. He's steady. I think that's the biggest thing. He's steady. High plays, low plays, mistake here, really good decision. He's just kind of the same guy each and every play, and I think the way he responds to all those situations is what's going to lead him into really good success for us.
What do you think is just because we mentioned earlier the 3rd QB or the emergency QB situation, what do you think is the future of that in the NFL? Because it seems like some coaches are wondering whether we even need it.
it's really a luxury at times, and obviously, most of history in the NFL, it hasn't drastically impacted games until a couple of years ago with San Francisco in the NFC Championship, and that probably shifted a lot of focuses just because of the prominent moment that was. They had a couple injuries and they didn't have a third available, and so I think it's a luxury, and when it's available to us, certainly we want to utilize it as much as you can, just because it gives you the insurance policy that you need. And then at other times when it's not available, you got to have the creativity on your roster to provide some depth that gets you through if you fall into that situation.
Just to clarify, Chase Young didn't suffer the injury during today's practice.
He just had a little something today. Yeah. He just had a little something today. Yep.
What stands out going against a Brandon Staley defense? What, as a game planner, what's he throw at you that makes it difficult?
Versatility shows up. I think their preparation shows up. He's going to have this group really dialed and recognizing, what you do best. And I think he does a good job of taking that away and putting you in some challenging situations because of that. So, I think our guys do an excellent job with their prep this week as well.
With having only seen Alvin Kamara for one snap in the preseason, can you describe a little bit about what you've seen from him in the run game during practices that maybe built some confidence in that part of the approach again?
I'd just say explosive player. You still see it each and every time. When he sees it and he makes a cut, it's explosive and it turns into big plays. And I think that's always been his superpower in the run game, is his ability to make that cut, make that decisive cut, and go make big plays. And in the passing game, he's continued to show that, that's again another valuable piece to him.
And how do you? Obviously it changed with games, but how do you expect to kind of approach things like running back by committee versus a workhorse back? You've done different things in different places.
Yeah, week by week it'll probably be different, and that's how the beauty of the NFL seasons are. Alvin's our starting running back for a reason, so he's certainly going to get a healthy bulk of this thing, and so our other guys are ready, and when the opportunity presents itself, they'll handle it really well.
How has Spencer's preparation process been this week of going through situational football with Arizona's defense and whatnot? How has that all been for you and him?
Yeah, Spencer's preparation has been great, and I think for all of our guys, this is a full week, and so it's Wednesday, Sunday we'll get here. It's a part of take this thing day by day. There's a practice today. They're tired. It was a padded practice, and there's a physical component to that, and so you got to recover. And the biggest thing is don't be chasing Sunday. Right now, get through this week. Embrace each day. Kind of enjoy the journey as you go through this week, and then we'll be ready when we go.
Getting Jake on the 53, is that about the third quarterback, or were you just looking to get him back on the roster?
Yeah, certainly the third quarterback thing provides us with flexibility, and there's a very fluid part to this roster, and so when it's available to us, obviously we'd love to keep it, and we'll see how it goes.
How are they able to kind of dictate some stuff with the way they use their tight ends?
Yeah, offensively, obviously, there are multiple tight ends set. They play with those guys. They got, pretty good defined roles that utilize, really good strengths for these guys. I think they got, one of the best tight end groups in the entire league, just the depth that they have with those guys. And so they're able to do a number of things. They're able to play the space game with 3 tight ends in the game. They're able to get big and heavy and kind of play the heavy run game. And so it presents a lot of challenges just because it's not one thing when those guys are on the field together. There's a lot of multiple things that they can do.
What stands out about Kellen Moore?
Yeah, Kyler, he's just done a really good job in this league. And so I think the cool thing is you've seen him grow each and every year in this league. And, his ability to make plays obviously has always been recognized, his ability to play in space, but his ability to play within the pocket, you just see it grow each and every year. He's able to make really good plays. He's making really good decisions with the football. I think he does a really good job of protecting it and putting them in really good situations. And it just seems like he makes these big moments in these situational football plays. And so whether it's with his legs, whether it's with his ability to scramble, deliver a pass, whatever it may be, he's a challenge for everyone.
When you, I think you were just starting your coaching career when he came out like in 2019 or maybe a year or two, and do you remember when he came out and scouting him at all and maybe the questions about his size or
It was special on film when you watched him at Oklahoma. There was not many people catching him when he ran, and he was throwing balls over the top of coverage. And so, I don't think there was any question when he was coming out, his ability to play in the NFL. And the size thing, I think, has been de-emphasized the last few years. I think at least people have recognized that from a quarterback perspective. And so he's certainly one of those big guys who are able to kind of justify that yeah, there's a vision thing at times, but he does an awesome job of navigating it.
Obviously, Josh Sweat's a guy that you're familiar with. obviously from last season. What do you see from him, and do you have any memories of him from Philadelphia?
Yeah, Josh is just a really good player, and obviously last year was fun because all the sacks that he created were for the positive, and this year it's going to present some challenges for us. I think his length, his size, and I think his football IQ, his ability to kind of diagnose things is really special. And certainly when I was in Dallas, when we played Philadelphia, he made some big time plays. I remember an interception, on a movement where he's the edge rusher. He made an interception off Dak and returned it, and so he can make some really special plays.
Just to clarify on Chase again, sorry, but not really a concern, right? Is that?
Yeah, he was just limited today.
He was able to finish practice out after the.
He was just limited. Yeah, he just had a little something come up, and yeah.
It's kind of a big picture question. So obviously, no one game, usually one game won't define a coach or a player. However, when you do something for the first time, it kind of feels different. And this is officially your first week one and first regular season game coming up as a head coach. I mean, how do you feel about it? What are your hopes and expectations for it?
I think it's everything we've talked about. Just, we really want to focus on playing the right way. Obviously we want to win the game. That's everyone's objective. I think in this league, every time you go out there and compete, you want to win. But it's really about are we executing at a high level? Are we playing with the play style and the fundamentals that we preach each and every day? We want to see it come alive. And this is our first opportunity to do it as a group. I'm excited for us to kind of take this whole week journey. It's our first time in a Wednesday. We'll get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we just got to take this thing one day at a time. And then we know how special the Dome is going to be on Sunday. It's going to be a really, really cool environment. I think the guys are excited about, the uniqueness of week one, uniqueness of, kind of changing up the jersey presentation a little bit. I think it's going to be a really fun atmosphere. And obviously we know how special our fans are in that Dome, and we're excited to see it.
So does it affect you personally in any way that is surprising you? Or, I know you've been in football forever, but just you feel a different energy this week? Is it harder to sleep? Is the vibe different at home or what?
No, not too much. No, I think you go about your routine the same way you always have. Obviously, there's different obligations when you're the head coach versus a coordinator. So there's different things you're responsible for during the week. But, all of us are really just focused in and, getting ready for Sunday.
Arizona is a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Do you think, factors like that or maybe kind of outside opinions or expectations, can you use that at all as bulletin board material for your guys and anything like that to fire them up?
I don't think we'll get too caught up in that. If guys want to see it, go for it. This is week one in the NFL, and no one could ask for a better opportunity than what we have right in front of us.
How do you guys kind of prepare when it's week one and they got a couple new guys in their front and sweat and kind of the defined unknown? But how do you scout them with their previous team and just kind of project how they fit? What's that look like?
I think you look at the scheme as a whole. Certainly, you're leaning on the Arizona film. You got to recognize some of these players that have gone from other places. You got to look at them from an individual level to some of their, skill set, fundamentals, those sorts of things that come up from other places. And I think the biggest thing is there is some unknown in week one. There's going to be stuff that happens that's not on film. That's the beauty of it. You trust your rules. You trust what you've done all off season. Trust your training, and then know some adjustment football may occur during the game, and that's what the great part of what this thing is all about.
Do you guys talk about if you get surprised by something, what the process will be to adjust to it? Do you guys go through coach reps or you know what I mean?
I think we just acknowledge that there will be a couple times where we'll have to make an adjustment to a rule, and we spend so much time through the whole offseason talking about different tools. That's what install football is about, is exposing ourselves to as many different tools, as many different schemes that we can put ourselves in, so that then we can apply them during the season. And when those present themselves, we don't always know when that comes up, but we've exposed ourselves. They understand them, and then you can make these quick adjustments as you need to in a game to put ourselves in really good situations.
Do you find that unpredictability or benefits the offense or the defense?
I don't know. I haven't quantified that one. I just know it works both sides. Both sides will have elements of unknown. That's what week ones are about. It's really, at the end of the day, it's about playing really clean football. You play really clean football, fundamentally sound, you're going to put yourself in a good position.